Welcome back, lovely ladies. If you want to become the woman of your dreams, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video. And join our Patreon for even more exclusive content. Now, let's dive into today's story. In high school, my best friend Dave was quite popular. He dated a lot of attractive girls, more than I could count. Meanwhile, I struggled to connect with girls. I was awkward and shy, and I felt a bit out of place. I would have been a total outcast, a nerd, if it hadn't been for Dave. We had a lot of fun spending time together, cruising around town in his Camaro. I was his loyal wingman. It felt incredible to ride around in that car. We'd go to drive-in movies, where Dave always seemed to know the car hops. We'd also visit the rec hall, where Dave was a skilled pool player. I wasn't very good at pool, so I usually hung out at the snack bar or watched Dave play. Technically, they weren't supposed to bet money at the rec hall, but they always did. Dave would have me hold the money, and we usually walked away with a few extra dollars. "Cruising money," Dave would say with a confident grin. "Great," I'd respond. "Let's cruise." I truly felt special spending time with Dave. He was the coolest guy I knew, and he was my best friend. During our senior year at Halloween, I was still just 17. The legal drinking age was 18, and some guys from the rec hall were planning to go bar hopping. I expected Dave to go with them, perhaps with a date as he usually did, so I figured I'd just stay home and watch TV. Then, Dave surprised me by suggesting we go to a house party. "There's a girl I'm hoping will be there," Dave explained. "Sounds cool," I said. "Yeah, I'd love to go if that's what you want." "Great." I was thrilled beyond words that I wouldn't be stuck at home alone. "It's a costume party," Dave said. "So we'll need to come up with some cool outfits." "Great," I said. I hadn't worn a costume for Halloween since elementary school. "It needs to be something memorable," Dave emphasized. "We don't want to just pull out our old devil or ghost costumes." "Right," I agreed. "We'll brainstorm some ideas." A couple of days later, Dave stopped by my house. "I've got it," he exclaimed, handing me a rolled-up magazine. I took the magazine and unrolled it. It was an Esquire, featuring a picture of supermodel Claudia Schiffer and her boyfriend, magician David Copperfield, on the cover. "Cool," I said. "So, what's your idea?" "Well, look through it. Don't just focus on the cover," Dave began to explain. "Check out the photos inside." Dave took the magazine back. "Claudia Schiffer. Wow, she's gorgeous," he said, showing me the cover again. "Yeah, she's beautiful," I replied, looking at the picture of the tall, stunning blonde model. "And David Copperfield. He's a magician just like me," Dave said. "I do magic tricks, right?" Dave was good with card tricks, and he'd do that thing of pulling quarters from behind my ears. "Yeah, sleight of hand. Right, you're good at that," I said. Dave flipped through the pages, then showed me the article from the cover. "Here," he said, sitting down and showing it to me. "Take a look at these pictures." The article had 4 or 5 pictures of Schiffer and Copperfield together. I looked at each picture, trying to figure out what he wanted me to see. "There," Dave said, pointing to a picture with Copperfield dressed in a black suit with a magician's top hat and a wand. "Look at Claudia," Dave instructed. Schiffer was sitting in a red sleeveless dress with white strapped heels. She was posed as if Copperfield's wand was putting her in a trance. I stared at the picture. "Do you see it?" Dave asked. I looked up at him. "It struck me as soon as I saw it," he said. I looked back at the picture. "That's us," he explained. "For Halloween, we're going as David Copperfield and Claudia Schiffer." I looked at him and back at the magazine, back and forth, my eyes squinting. "I know you see it," he said. "I look a bit like Copperfield, and you could easily pull off Schiffer." A strange feeling washed over me as I looked at Dave. "You want me to dress up like a woman?" "Well, like that woman," he continued. "See, I'll be in my magician outfit, and you'll be dressed as a fashion model. I think everyone will get the connection." Dave continued. "I've already talked to my sister about it, and she thinks it's a fantastic idea. She says she can help you with makeup and get us a great deal on your clothes at her store. I've saved up a good amount of money from pool so I can spend a little on my wingman's outfit. If you're up for it, that is." I was overwhelmed. Secretly, I loved the idea, but I was afraid to show it. I could easily see what Dave was talking about. Looking at the pictures of Claudia, my mind kept flashing between the image and myself. Not that I'm supermodel material or anything, but I am tall, slender, and blonde. Additionally, I could relate to Schiffer's expressions, her eyes, and her smile like a mental connection. I sat there and looked up at Dave. He was standing over me, pointing at the picture of Schiffer and Copperfield, and it was as if we slipped into the pose, him like Copperfield, putting me, like Schiffer, in a trance. "So, are you in?" Dave asked. "Yeah, okay, let's do it," I agreed. "So it's settled then," Dave said. "We'll do it." Dave outlined his plan of taking me to the department store where his sister works, saying she'd help me with clothes, makeup, and everything else. I just looked at him and nodded. I was slightly embarrassed by how easily I was persuaded and by how excited I was about it. It didn't seem to bother Dave, though. He was like the ultimate masculine guy, doing masculine things. But he was always okay with me being shy and quiet and not very masculine. I figured that's what made me a good wingman for him. We were never in competition. The next day, Dave picked me up to go see his sister. Diane said early afternoon is the best time for her to help you. Something about being less busy so you can use the fitting rooms. "Okay," I said, getting in the Camaro, and we left. "How are you doing?" Dave asked, probably noticing I was unusually quiet. "Nervous," I admitted, glancing at Dave, and a little embarrassed. "Don't worry, you'll look fantastic," Dave reassured me. "So I'm going to get a makeover?" I asked. "Yeah, makeup and styling, I guess," Dave replied. "But today I think it's more of a consultation and you'll pick out some clothes, shoes, and such. The party isn't until next Saturday. I think you'll get the makeover that afternoon." I nodded, agreeing to everything. "Oh, okay, wow," I said, trying not to sound too enthusiastic. When we arrived at the store, Dave went to the customer service desk to ask for Diane. "She's a manager here now," Dave informed me. They paged her, and we waited. I looked around at all the racks of stylish clothes, attractive mannequins, and the display areas with jewelry and cosmetics. I was completely absorbed when I heard Diane say, "Hi, Danny." "Oh, hi, Diane," I said, smiling. Dave's sister, a junior in college, was very pretty and friendly. I admired her a lot. "So you're going to a costume party. It sounds so exciting and fun. You must be excited." "Yeah," I replied. "I'm a little nervous, but it does sound like fun." "You're a cute guy, Danny," Diane said, engaging me with her eyes. "You're blessed with nice features. I think you'll be surprised how much you can look like Schiffer." I was captivated by her positive energy. Diane and I smiled and chuckled at each other. It occurred to both of us that we were having a bit of a girl moment. Diane gently touched my arm. "This is going to be fun." We both glanced at Dave, relieved that he was distracted by some shoppers and didn't seem to notice our moment. Diane said, "David, let me have Danny for a while." "Yeah, sure," Dave said. He glanced at me. "Have fun," he said. "I'll be back in a little while." With so many attractive girls around, I was sure Dave would make the most of his time, but I still looked at him as he walked away. Diana showed me around the store, chatting nonstop. I felt strangely giddy and found myself matching Diane's enthusiasm as we walked. "Here we are," Diane said. "Clubwear. This is what you need." I looked around at the mannequins in short, form-fitting dresses. "Clubwear tends to be figure-enhancing while also being a bit revealing," she explained. "You want to be eye-catching when you're out so people will notice you and accept you." She gave me a sly grin, and we shared another girl moment, almost giggling about being attention-grabbing. Diane introduced me to a sales associate who measured me and showed me several outfits she thought would work, holding them up to me to check the fit and color. "I like this one," I said, holding up a red sleeveless dress. I explained to her that I was trying to find an outfit for a costume party inspired by Claudia Schiffer from a picture in Esquire. "Oh yeah, I get it," she said, looking at my face and scanning my body with an approving nod. Just then, Diane returned. "How's it going?" she asked. I showed her the red dress and explained how it looked like the one Schiffer wore in the picture. "Oh yeah, Dave showed me that picture," Diane said. "I agree, that's the dress." Then Diane handed me a new disposable razor. "Here," she said. I'm assuming you haven't shaved your legs yet. You can't wear a dress like this with hair on your legs. You can use this in the fitting room." At that moment, Dave walked up. "Hey, how's it going?" he asked, looking at Diane and me. He noticed the dress I was holding and smiled. "Oh, we still have some things to do," Diane said. "We need another hour or so." Diane put her hands up as if she was presenting me in a show. "You want Danny to look good, don't you?" she asked rhetorically. "Yeah, sure," Dave replied. "I'll see you in a couple of hours then." He turned to walk away, then looked at me. "See you later, Danny," he said. "See you, Dave," I said, watching him walk away. "He's going to love the way you look," Diane told me. I smiled hopefully. Then Diane led me back to the fitting rooms. She checked each stall to ensure it was empty. Diane ushered me into a stall. "Here you go," she said, tapping the razor. "First your legs, then touching the dress, then the dress." I stood motionless inside the fitting stall for a moment, beginning to grasp what was happening. "I can see why Dave likes you," Diane told me with a comforting smile. Then she closed the door and left me to get dressed. I hung the dress on a hook, feeling the fabric with my fingers. Then I took off my shoes and jeans and sat on the bench. I took the razor out of the package, turned it on, and shaved my right leg, then my left, until I was hairless from ankle to groin. I was amazed at how well the razor worked and how great my legs felt. I ran my hands over my skin, so smooth. I sat looking at my legs, moving them around to catch the light from different angles. Then I looked in the mirror and unbuttoned my shirt, slipping it off one shoulder at a time. I used the razor to remove the little bit of hair on my chest. Then I went ahead and shaved my arms. Standing up, seeing my smooth shaved body in my white men's underwear, I knew this wouldn't work as planned. I knocked on the door, calling for Diana. Realizing I was in a women's fitting room, I consciously tried to soften my voice and was a bit surprised at how well it sounded. I knocked again and called for Diane, partly just to hear my own voice. "Danny?" I heard Diana outside. I opened the door a crack and peeked out. "We forgot something," I said. "You mean this?" Diana said, handing me a bag. "It's panties and a bra," she said. "You absolutely will need that." "Yes," I said, unable to hide my excitement. We shared a knowing smile through the crack in the door. I took the panties and bra from the bag and carefully laid them on the bench. They were beige and the material felt wonderful. I removed my cotton men's underwear, folded them, and placed them on the bench. It was a thrilling experience putting on my first pair of panties. I slid them up my shaved legs, marveling at how they felt. I adjusted the fabric around my private area until it just looked like a gentle mound beneath my panties. Satisfied, I picked up the bra. It was a strapless underwire bra, and I don't know how, but I seemed to instinctively know how to reach behind myself to clasp the hooks and to work the cups under and over my chest, lifting them to create a nice little cleavage. The sensations I felt were exhilarating. I was aglow and on fire as I looked at myself in the mirror. I took the red dress from the hanger and examined it. It was so small, it was hard to believe I could fit into it or that it would cover much of me. Diana called the dress a bodycon, saying it would hug and enhance my figure. I held the dress up over my head and, standing straight and tall, pulled it down over my body, bra and panties. I adjusted the straps on my shoulders and gently tugged at the stretchy waist until it felt right. I stood looking at myself in the mirror, turning side to side, striking different poses. I looked as amazing as I felt, I thought. Then I opened the door and stepped into the hallway. Diana was at the cashier's desk, but came back to the fitting area when she heard me open the door. "Oh my goodness, girl," she said. "You look amazing." I instinctively turned and struck various poses. My smile was radiant. "Girl, you are so pretty," Diana exclaimed. "I can see why David wanted to get you dressed up. He does like pretty girls." Hearing Dave's name made my heart race, and the way Diana mentioned him, I wondered if more planning had gone into this than I'd realized. Had Dave invited me to the party just to see me dressed up? "You need shoes, Danny," Diana said. "Come on," she said, taking my arm and leading me out into the store. She stopped at the cashier's desk, took a brush from her purse, and quickly styled my long hair. Then she took out some red lipstick and an eyebrow pencil and quickly applied them to my lips and eyes. "You'll learn how to do this yourself, Danny," she said. "Makeup is easy when your features are naturally pretty." Satisfied, she headed to the shoe aisle, me following her barefoot. I couldn't help but smile at everyone who looked at me, and they all smiled back. We reached the shoe section and Diana told me to sit down. Then she spoke to the salesperson there who came over to measure my feet. I was suddenly embarrassed that my nails weren't filed and polished. The sales associate obviously noticed. "You're going to get a pedicure too," Diana interjected, "along with a manicure." I looked at my sad-looking nails and nodded. "You have very long, narrow feet," the sales associate said. "Luckily, we are one of the few stores that carry your size." She stood up. "Here, let me show you what we have." I stood and followed the sales associate to look at the shoes. "Your best fit will be a size 10B width," the sales associate explained. "Most of the shoes on this rack and this table come in that size." I chose a nice pair of white strapped heels, and the associate went to the back to get my size. I sat down. The associate returned and helped me into my new shoes, then offered her hand to help me stand. I stood for a moment, gauging the feel, then took one step, then another. I felt quite comfortable and walked a few steps down the carpet, turned, and walked back. "They feel great," I said. "They look fantastic," Diana said. Diana told the sales associate she would handle the transaction, but that we would complete the purchase at a different register. Then we walked back to the fitting room. "You walk well in heels," Diane commented. "Is this really your first time?" "Except for when I was little, playing in my mom's shoes," I confessed. "Ah," Diana said. "So you knew then already." I looked at her, and I understood what she meant, but I was still kind of stunned. "Okay, girl," Diana said when we were back in the dress department. "It's a shame, I know, but you're going to have to bag all this stuff and change back into your usual clothes. You don't want David to see you like this just yet." The implication of her words stunned me even more than I already was. So I went back to the fitting room and with a heavy heart took off my wonderful new clothes and shoes, placing my dress back on its hanger, my bra and panties back in their bag, and my fabulous shoes back in their box. I put back on my men's underwear, my jeans, shirt, and sneakers. As much as I dreaded switching back to my usual attire, oddly, I still felt a little like a girl wearing it. I thought, dresses are powerful. When I went back to the counter, Dave was there. "Hey," I said. "Hey, Danny," he replied, smiling at me. Diana said she would process my purchases with her employee discount. I said I could pay for it, but Dave quickly jumped in, saying, "No way, this treat's on me." I smiled, and Diana smiled, and we exchanged a secret knowing glance. "Oh, wait," Diana said. "Let me wipe off your lipstick." A little embarrassed, having forgotten about it, I glanced at Dave. "Looks good," Dave said casually. "You can leave it on if you want." Diana and I shrugged. "Okay," I said, maybe a little too happily. I thanked Diana and started to walk out with Dave. "Oh, wait." Diana stopped me, leaning in to whisper in my ear, "If you're wearing makeup, you really ought to put this back on." And she pointed to the bag with my panties and bra. "Oh, yeah," I said, and told Dave I needed another minute. Back in the fitting room, I quickly took off my jeans, put my panties back on, adjusting them, and then slid the bra under my shirt, positioning it properly. Jeans back on, I walked out, smiling at Diana, subtly enhancing my cleavage while David was looking away. "Okay, ready," I said. "Wow," David said, looking at me. I waved goodbye to Diana, and David and I slowly walked out of the store, brushing shoulders along the way. I felt like I still had some of Diane's energy in my step. Back at the Camaro, Dave opened my door. "There you go," he said. I looked at him and slid in. We cruised around just like always. I turned on the radio. "So, it was great, wasn't it?" he asked. "Yeah," I answered, "it was really great." "So, I guess you're really up for this," Dave said. "I mean, for dressing up and going to the party." "Yeah, it's a fantastic idea," I said. "Diana convinced me. It will be fun. I'm looking forward to it." Dave looked at me and smiled. I smiled and leaned back in my seat, noticing my chest rise slightly as I did. "Can I ask you something?" I said, looking over at Dave. "Sure," Dave said. "What's on your mind?" "Is this about me dressing up so we can go to that party, or is it about us going to that party because you wanted to see me dressed up?" I asked boldly. Good question," Dave said. "Which one do you think it is?" He chuckled, and I think we both blushed. "Another question. Is there really a girl you're hoping to see there?" "Yeah, there is," Dave said. "You." And he playfully poked my arm. "When I'm a girl, I want to call you David instead of Dave. Is that all right?" I asked. "Sure," David said. "I like that." Then he added, "And I can still call you Danny, except we both know it will be the girl Danny, right?" I giggled and smiled. "Right, David?" "I like you, Danny," he said. "You're fun to be around, and you look amazing now, too." "Thank you, David," I said. "You're wonderful." "I think Danny will be my new wing girl," David said, giving me a very kind look. "She already is," I said, leaning back, smiling dreamily. David revved up the Camaro and accelerated a bit. I loved the feeling of the power propelling us down the road. And so, Danny's journey of self-discovery began. He embraced his feminine side, found newfound confidence, and strengthened his friendship with Dave, who proved to be incredibly supportive and accepting. The Halloween party became a turning point, a celebration of newfound identity and a testament to the power of friendship and embracing one's true self.
Did you like the story? Hit that like button and tell me what you thought in the comments. Do you want to hear more stories? Subscribe and hit the bell. For exclusive content and early access, check out our Patreon. You can find the link in the description, or you can watch any of the videos shown on my right. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.